I'm Dom here from Country Chat with Dom, joined here by the founder and the woman behind a lot of different things. It's Gill Tee. Hi, Jill.
Hello, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Really good, really good, really excited. New event happening in October. So yeah, it's all hands to the deck and a lot to do, but a lot of excitement around it. So yeah, it's all good.
I mean, I can imagine. I mean, for reference for everybody, this is the 21st of August. We are going to be talking about one of the biggest events that's going to be happening in the centre of London, may I add. It's Black Deer in the City at Tobacco Docks. I mean, such an incredible venue. Tobacco Docks is as well. But not only that, you have done so much in terms of festivals, in terms of businesses. You are like businesswoman of the decade, the century, the how
Yeah, I am old. It's true.
I mean, well, not saying that you're old. Please do not take it that way. But
It's
yeah, it's
okay.
just
I'm never offended.
it's honestly reading through, the things that you've done over the years. I mean, you've changed a lot of people's lives. I mean, you changed my life of certain without even realizing it.
What?
Um, now you used to do part of Entity was Party in the Park,
Yes.
and
Or actually, I Party in the Park. I had my career at Capital Radio. That's how I
yeah,
started in the music industry, and worked my way up the ladder
yeah,
of I started as promoting music on air, oh, sorry, events on air for the biggest UK promoters of the time.
yeah,
So, they would be having an event somewhere and I'd be getting the jocks to co-promote it. So they'd be talking about that event. And at that time, Capital Radio, the tickets just flew out the door. So I was very popular with the promoters of the time because I also had a really great relationship with the jocks, and it was Tarrant and Neil Fox, all the guys that were there at the time, and I
yeah,
just used to go in and get live reads done as opposed to the recorded stuff that used to go out. And when a jock did a live read, it was just like magic. So
yeah,
so that's kind of how I started at Capital. Then I worked my way up. I ended up as head of entertainment there and in charge of like live music and anything that was happening external sort of to the radio station. And the program controller of the time, Richard Park, had come back from the States and he'd seen a radio-led big event in one of the big parks in New York. And he said to me, I want to start that in London. I want to do that. I want to do that. So he said, so that should. So I was tasked with pulling all that together, and that's kind of what I did. And so Party in the Park came into life in 1998,
yeah.
and 100,000 people came into Hyde Park, and me along with an amazing team of people I'd gathered together. We just kind of like went, wow, this really happened, and it was a huge success. And I was during that time, I was just so fascinated by watching the world build because I'd go down to Hyde Park through the build, dealing with the production company that I'd appointed.
Yeah.
Watch this, like these characters turning up with all different parts of the puzzle to make a world happen. And I'm just like, I literally was mesmerized by it. And I was in a really good job at Capital. I was very lucky to. I'd worked my ass off, to be fair, but it
Yeah.
was it was a privileged position. I had a lot of the perks of working for a big company and all the lovely things that went with that. But I just couldn't get it out of my head that I wanted to learn how to build those worlds. I wanted to learn how to produce something. I wanted to be the production company.
I don't blame you. I mean, that's it's always fascinating when you're doing something you genuinely love and then something else comes up and it's like that is the dream. That is what
Yeah,
we want to do. And then we'll do anything for it.
yeah.
At the time we'll do both things and then we'll sort of like the dynamic shifts a bit, and it's just incredible. And one of the reasons why I bring up Part in the Park first is because the way it sort of changed my life because it introduced me to one of my ex-partners when it was back up.
Is
Wait,
that a
because
good thing?
one, it is a good thing. the thing with life is with me is I don't have any regrets. I do not regret anything in my
Yeah,
life,
yeah,
and because it all leads us to the direction that we are at the moment.
really.
And Party in the Park in Temple Newsom, 2000, I think it was 2000 and might have been six or five. Dizzy Rascal was there, and my ex-partner at the time really, really enjoyed Dizzy Rascal, and that's how I managed to get two tickets. And I had a spare ticket, so I sort of convinced her to come with me, and we started talking more, and then we started dating. We was
Uh,
together for like 8 years, and then we separated when I moved over to I moved over to Texas, and that's where I discovered country
right.
music.
Ah,
Lived over there for like 9 months, and then I came back over the UK, realized that I want to do my own thing, and the relationship really wasn't working out. So yeah,
yeah.
I mean, it changes everybody's lives in different ways, and
Absolutely. And you know, I went to my boss a couple of weeks after Party in the Park had finished, and I just said, I want to leave. I want to start my own production company. I want to learn how to build the worlds. And everyone thought I was ridiculous, and but I was so determined. And to cut a long story short, I ended up walking away with a contract to start my new business with 2-year contract to continue project managing Party in the Park, Hyde Park, um, for Capital. So it was, I walked away with an amazing piece of business that would sustain me through learning how I pull a production company together. And that's how Entity started. So it's kind of like been, you know, going from having everything done for you in a radio station. You got IT, something goes wrong, IT, you got this, you got that, you got team. I had a big team, I had a beautiful office, I had everything, to being in an office with like the photocopier. Shit, what do I do with that?
yeah, I totally get that, but it's incredible, that isn't it? I mean, the fact that you've come away with the 2 year contract, and they could have just said, okay, you go do your thing, good luck, but they've helped you out with the contract. They've seen the hard work you've done. They've seen the sort of changes that you've made, and helped almost helped you along with it as well.
Yeah, yeah, no, look, I will always be grateful for that contract. I mean, to be fair, I was holding the car. I'd pulled everything together, so I kind
Yeah.
of knew how it rolled. So there was there's a bit of a, they needed me, I think, to be
Yeah.
able to get them to the next step, which is to have someone again in house who could manage it, and
Hmm.
which happened. I handed the baton over,
Yeah.
but my relationship with Capital remained for many many years, and I was, once I'd learned how to produce. I was awarded like the contract for all the regional Party in the Parks. So
Yeah.
Hyde Park went back into the Capitol main building and was managed, but all the regionals, I then was doing like 5 regionals around the UK, with my production company and with the production company entity. So it was like a traveling circus. We went round and like did all these different events. Um, and I managed to, we managed to secure some pretty good stuff in addition to that, which set, it was my it was how I learned my trade. And
Yeah.
but you never stop with production, you never stop learning. I never stop learning.
I mean,
So,
not only that, and the reason why I mentioned businesswoman of of lifetime is the fact that you've got this you've created this production company entity. You've now acquired these regional Party in the Parks. You've developing your brand, and then not only that, you see a gap in the market in fencing. Of
oh
all
yeah.
the things, fencing. I love it.
Well, that came about because all my crew, the crew I used to bring on board was like, my son, his friends, all the family, like everybody would want to work. And that's why, my daughter come and work with us. So we become like this team of people. And one day my son, was looking, because I'd got a contract for 3 years to run all this regional stuff. And we was talking about what other possibilities could be from a structural point of view, from an infrastructure point of view, that we could potentially develop. And I said, I really hate the only fencing I can afford. for these beautiful parks, because it was all in lovely parks all across the UK.
Yeah.
This horrible building site hoarding that looked really ugly, or
Ugh.
Harris fencing, like the anti-climb fencing.
Yeah.
That's all we could afford. And I wanted to create a beautiful environment. So the only fencing that existed was the real heavy steel shield, the big steel fencing that went around all the major, like big major events.
Yeah.
And we couldn't, that wouldn't have been right for the parks. And also we wouldn't have been able to try to fund that. So what we did, we chatted and decided together, because he's very entrepreneurial, um, to design a fencing solution that was a that was better than what was currently available, but wasn't as heavy and strong as the steel shield. And that's what we did. So we designed a prototype, had it wind tested, raised the money through loans, and I went actually back to my boss, David Mansfield, who I'm still friends with at Capital. I mean, David, if I supply you this fencing, this superior fencing for next year's party in the parks,
Yeah.
would you front me the money now, but only pay the same as what you would for the fencing if it was the horrible, like the Harris fencing? I said, but it means that I've got some money to help with my fund to create this fencing solution. And he agreed. So we had a chunk from that of advance money from the following year.
Yeah.
And then, I remortgaged the house and raised the money to start our fencing business, Entity Hire. So that's how that came into life. Now the fencing business, I mean, my son, he's massive now with what he's doing with fencing, but also he's involved with the music industry in other ways. But he's taken the business now forward into a way that we do all the major events. So we do Hyde Park. We've now got all the metal, big high metal fencing and all the things in between. So yeah, it's that kind of starting.
But it's isn't it just crazy how it all kind of like develops that snowball effect, you know? It's just like, oh, we need something better than this. And I mean, that's how all great entrepreneurs sort of develop their own brand and how they create these amazing things by taking what is okay, but it's not as suitable and making it better. I mean,
Yeah.
that's how the phones have developed over the years. And it's,
And it's a practical thing.
yeah,
Every event needs some fencing around it.
exactly.
Well, it
But
was always going to be in demand, whereas you can create an event or be creative of anything, but that's only for as long as anyone's prepared to come along to it.
yeah.
Whereas practical stuff like toilets and fencing and that is kind of always going to be required. So it was always the feeling was that it was the safe, although really hard at the beginning, but it was the safe thing to do. But I was very lucky because, we was lucky because I knew all the UK promoters because I'd
Because you were
actually
capital
been
and
promoting their stuff on air. I went round and went to right boys. When you next looking at your fencing solutions, your production company, whoever you're using to produce your event for you, needs fencing. Please give me the shot. So that's how we kind of ended up becoming a bigger business because we ended up getting contracts and having to make more business. So having to have more loans, having to, you know, it was just like snowballed
yeah.
in a good way, in a manageable way, because we had to obviously, again, it's learning your trade about how to put up fencing in Hyde Park was very different to putting it up in a field in a local park. So
Yeah.
it's all that skill set and building a great team of guys, because that's bloody hard work, putting that steel up in the heat of the day, miles of the bloody stuff. And we do Boomtown, Creamfields, all the massive events is, that's our entity fencing.
I mean, that is just so incredible. I mean, you don't really, whenever somebody goes to a festival or they go to an event and they don't really look around and think, oh, that's actually really nice fencing. But the problem now is as soon as I sort of learn about you and what you do, it's, oh, I notice now. It's like, oh, I wonder if this team's and that.
an entity fencing,
It's
yeah.
an entity.
You won't.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
There's a lot of it around. There's miles and miles and miles of entity fencing, believe you me.
I can imagine, and to the way that it's sort of developed with all the different festivals is just brilliant. And again, so business savvy. It is just really, really good. Going from fencing, then, talk us into Black Deer. How did Black Deer then actually start? Not just what we're doing now at Black Deer in the City or Black Deer Radio,
Yeah,
but Black Deer at Eridge Park.
yeah. Well, because through the production bit, through Entity, and through my relationship with Vince Power, Vince Power,
Yeah.
promoter of Reading Leeds, or so, Mean Fiddler, so many, many, many things, part of Glastonbury at one point.
Yes.
So Vince and I became good friends, like um, when I was promoting his stuff on air, because he came along as a relatively newish promoter, compared to the Harvey Goldsmiths and the bigger names. And I kind of took him under my wing, and I really, when he had an event on, I'd always like really want to promote it well for him. So anyway, we become friends, and when he sold the Mean Fiddler, he wanted to still do stuff. So
Yeah.
he came to me and he said, Jill, would you get involved with me? I want to start a new festival in Kent called the Hop Farm, at the Hop Farm in Kent. Well, the Hop Farm is about 30, 25, 30 minutes from where I live. So
Yeah.
that aside, I was like, yeah, I'd love to do that. So it was like a new baby we started. And I was his festival director and worked really closely with him and learned so much from Vince, about uh producing a festival and putting a festival on. And um but he did go bust
Yeah.
and owed me quite a lot of money.
Oh dear. Oh
So I
no.
remortgaged my house again. But I paid everyone. I paid anyone that I'd employed direct to work with me on the event. I paid. And Vince
Yeah.
and I kind of had a little bit of a standoff for a while because I was really, really like annoyed. But then I understood he lost his money into it. He's a music man. He's a music man, and he done a big gamble on getting Prince there. Prince is only ever UK festival he did
Yeah.
was at the Hop Farm, and we had to add another date because he could only do Sunday. So it's a long-winded reason why it was the beginning of the end a bit of the Hop Farm. So anyway,
Yeah.
I learned everything, but I decided I'm never, ever, ever going to work on a festival again. Continue with my production company. I'm going to continue doing events and producing stuff, but I didn't want festivals in my life because
Yeah.
it kind of did hurt owing loads of money after you put 5 years of graft into something.
Yeah.
Anyway, I eventually come to terms with it and decided it was my expensive education. So I kind of like put that, I managed to rationalize it, and I become friends with Vince again and made him buy me lunch every time we went out. It never
Yeah.
ever, obviously over the years, it didn't it didn't pay for it, but it kind of it was a laugh we had about it. So 5 years on from that, was it 5 years? 2017. So the last Hop Farm was 2012. 2017, in that interim period, I'd been doing some work with Eridge Estate. I'd helped get their licenses for them. And I was encouraging promoters to come and use this beautiful estate to put your event on.
Yeah.
Please come and look at it. It's gorgeous and blah, blah, blah. And I was doing other projects as well. And I was having a party for my daughter in our house and in our garden. I'd set up almost like a little mini festival, I got the
As you
kids
do.
on wristband exchange. We got on a little VIP, and
Really?
it was just like fun. It was just like
That's brilliant.
a sunny, hot day in August, and people come. And my friend who lived next door, her uncle was visiting her that day, and she said, "Oh, do you mind if I bring my uncle along?" I went, no, 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 of course not. He's more than welcome. Anyway, this guy's walked in who's her uncle, very, I always say he looks like a member of the royal family or lord or something.
Yeah.
He's very He's, you know,
Is fully
statesmanlike,
upright
very
and
statesmanlike. Anyway, he
yes.
walked in and I started talking to him and he was chatting and he said, Jill, you did the hop farm, didn't you? Because he lived locally as well. And I said, yeah. And we started to talk about that. And then he talked about music and that his love of country music because he had started a marketing company in the 80s and 90s that was very successful. And he'd brought Marlboro and Bud into the UK.
Yeah.
So he kind of used to be out in America all the time, and country music had got into his whole
DNA
psyche.
sort of
So yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah. So he loved country music, and then I said to him, "My passion, look, the music I love is Americana, old country. You know, I wasn't a pop country fan, but I loved all
Yeah.
the real heritage stuff and."
The rootsy
And
stuff and
rootsy stuff. And I said, because I grew up with that music as a young girl. I was like, my older brother, Chris, he was he could pick up any instrument and play, and he loved all that music. So, as well as Neil Young and the Stones growing up with that, I grew up with like Marty Robbins, yeah, Hank Williams and all
yeah.
these great country, Johnny Cash and his friends all used to come around, they'd all be playing instruments together. So I was this little girl like living in this world of music. And then when my brother was 19, he was murdered
Yeah.
and our whole family life shattered into pieces and for a long time obviously and music it felt painful to listen to that music in a
Mm.
way because it
It
was
touches you.
it so much
Hmm.
for my family, for my mom and my dad and my brother Steve. But obviously you start to come through that pain and that horror and I kind of always felt like I wanted to not waste a minute of my life. I wanted to live it for him. Do, do you know what
Yeah.
I mean by that?
I completely get
I
that.
wanted it to be that I'm not scared to be alive, that I should embrace it because I'm fortunate that I'm there. And so that's always been my kind of way. So
Hmm.
people go, oh, you're always on a high, and I go, I'm really fortunate.
Every
I've
second that we
I've
have on this
obviously
earth is
I've
just something
obviously been
good.
blessed with not having the propensity to have depression and things. So anyway, so it's kind of taken me through life that. And and so I was talking to Colin about my passion for that. And then he said, nothing really happens around here, does it? And I went, no. I said, and funny enough, I'd spoken to a promoter a year before and I said, why does nobody do like country music festivals here? And they went, oh, because they would never sell. And I just kind of, I just kept thinking in my head, I can't believe that. I think it's a guilty pleasure that people just don't really reveal that they like it because it's not really cool. Anyway, so he and I started to like continue talking. All my friends were coming up and going, Jill, and I'm like at this party with this man, and we was just like locked in this conversation. And he said, Jill, he said, so would you ever do a festival again? And I went, nah. I said the only way I'd do it if it was it was kind of almost an immediate response. If it was funded, if it was a genre that I believe that the genre that we've just been talking about. I
Yeah.
said if it was at Eridge Estate, because I think it's the most beautiful place to hold a festival ever. So anyway, it ended up him saying, Joe, if I offered some seed money, would you like to investigate the opportunity to see if it exists? So I shook his hand. I went, "Yep."
Take that straight away.
I just kind of don't know where it comes from, but I just went, "Yes." So
Oh, that is brilliant.
that's how Black Deer came about. So at the time, Deb Schilling, who was working with me at the time, I rang her and I said, "Look, I'm going to be doing this. I'm doing this. Do you want to come in? Do you want to join me on the journey?" And she went, "Oh, like because festivals wasn't her thing. She worked in a more corporate side of events and things."
Yeah.
And like she thought about it and then she went, oh yeah, let's do it. So that's why we went on this big roller coaster ride called Black Deer. And within 6 weeks, I think it was 6 or 8 weeks, there was a really lovely guy I was introduced to called Ian Snodgrass, who had worked for Universal Music
Yeah.
and was their conduit between Nashville and he was so amazing. Opened his black book, and we found ourselves on a plane with my new Colin, Colin Lloyd, who's the guy,
Yes.
and we was on a plane to Nashville, being introduced to the top people in Nashville. To tell them we're doing a festival because I wanted it to be high production values. I wanted to go in at a high level, not start on like the bottom.
Yeah, and then build up
You
sort
would
of thing.
have
You
to
want to.
get funding, but I knew that I would put my heart and soul into it and make it as successful as we can. And just this quick one, because what was evident, what was amazing, as I sat there, and because of my history with the hop farm, 5 years working with Vince, a lot of the artists of the agents that I was seeing, their artists had played hop farm. So they were trusted in my production ability.
Yeah, they've already
So
got the experience from you, so
So,
they've
so,
already.
so, yeah.
You,
So it felt like my, it paid off. My education with
yeah,
it paid off. So it became like this amazing first year of Black Deer was incredible.
that's just so fascinating. I mean, not only just the fact that a lot of the artists that you know were going to go see in Nashville had already played for you. I mean, to have that relationship already is that's one of the hardest things to sort of build when you initially start something is that
Yeah.
initial relationship. But because you've already got it, fantastic. I mean, brilliant. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously so sorry to hear about, your brother. Obviously that's a really difficult thing for somebody to sort of, grow with. And
Yeah. But
the
he's with
way
me all the time. He's on my screensaver.
exactly.
He's like my business partner on the other side. And when it's going wrong, I go, for fuck's sake, Chris, what's gone wrong here? I literally do that. It's true.
One thing that not many people really know about me, my partner knows this about me, but I'm actually quite spiritual. I believe that we communicate with our loved ones, and I communicate with my grandparents and stuff all the time. Not directly, of course, but through thoughts and processes. And one of the things that helped me sort of cope with that is by taking each day as they come, by looking at every sunrise and sunset. And throughout my life, I've struggled with depression, I've struggled with anxiety, and I did try to, end it all, but that failed. And I am
Good.
so glad that failed because I look at every single day the exact same way. And I still have my ups and downs, but I really get, when you said, do you know what, do you know what I mean? And I do genuinely get what you mean when you look at every single day. And it is so brilliant the way that you've taken all these different contacts, all these different things from, being through capital, through, into the fencing, into learning all these different people throughout the whole production side and creating a your own black book of friends and colleagues and everybody around you to then create this incredible festival. Now, you've had so many incredible artists perform at Black Deer. I mean, I think the last one was what, Sheryl Crow? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
come
yeah.
on.
Yeah. I mean, the festival sort of grew and grew, but financially, that's a lot of money to spend.
Yeah,
On a genre that isn't really big enough or wasn't big enough to sustain that continual growth. And it is almost the expectation every year was more. So therefore we gave more. And we've
yeah.
had amazing investors that came into the fold who it's cost a lot of money. Look, I never tell like I always pride myself on telling as much not confidential truth as
Yeah.
I can, obviously.
Obviously, you got NDAs and stuff like that, so we,
Yeah,
we
you
all
can't,
get it.
there's certain things I obviously can't say, but a lot of money, a lot of investors' money has gone into building that brand of Black Deer. And a lot of people have got hurt by it as well. Let's not pretend this is a easy road to travel on. It's not.
Oh, it's never will be.
It's not, and there's a lot of sadness that comes with that. Um, but I suppose for me, I've just continued to have a belief. I love when I started this process, I wanted Black Deer to be an opportunity for all the amazing artists that exist, the grassroots artists that
Yeah.
exist, to have an opportunity to be on a bigger stage, to not just play the gigs in the pubs and the clubs. And, I know there's some great like Maverick Festival, there was lovely, Red Rooster was going on, there's all these lovely things. But I suppose it's because of my background and I knew how to produce things at a bigger level.
Yeah.
Felt like I wanted to do that and give them the platform. And I was really seriously hoping that some sort of aging rock star who'd made their money would go, do you know something? I really believe in this. And rather than it be an investor who's looking for an end game that came into the fold, I'm very grateful for all our investors. So I'm not knocking any of it.
Yeah.
It would have been lovely to have that feeling that because the estate wanted to build a little Glastonbury there. So I knew I had years and years and years to run. They wanted a heritage festival at
Yeah.
Erich. So I knew I had that. I knew I had the skill set to make this happen. But what we didn't have was that initially that big chunk of money from somebody who kind of could afford to invest for the future, not just for the next 5 years,
Yeah.
almost like as a heritage for themselves, like a
Hmm.
legacy for them. But that kind of doesn't happen, that's in my fantasy world.
You
So, so,
thing is
so
though, unless you try it, unless you push for it, it's never going to happen, to begin with. So to have that foresight and to have the drive for it and the passion yourself, it's always trying to find that equal person with another passion as well. And you know, if only the likes of say Rod Stewart or somebody would
yeah, they went,
come out and
you
say,
know,
you know what, come here, here you go. This we'll make it our own and we'll run away with it.
yes, yes. And like we could and give, if we have had that kind of sort of backing from the beginning with the real belief we could everything's possible, it would have been a massive game changer. But it became too cost prohibitive to continue for the following year for 2025 for us to do that standard of what we got to and
Yeah,
continue that. For the moment. That's not to say that won't be what we can do in the future, but so we developed the other brands, the other strands, the one day events, the radio station, Black Deer Radio.
yeah,
So, I run my old mate Neil Fox up, who, was, the
over
consummate
at Crystal.
professional of,
Yeah,
and we pulled together a team, a great production team who produced the Tarrant shows way back. So, um, and we managed to get, Chris Russell Fish, who's the our MD, who I took on right at the beginning.
yeah,
I call him the grown up, to be the person that is able to, um, really look at the business side of it with our
yeah,
investors and be that person the investors want to be able to know that's there. Looking after all of the financial side of things as well. So he and I have become like this team. Um, we cut, obviously a lot of people that was there at the beginning are no longer part of this next phase of Black Deer. But he and I are, we've developed the radio station, the one day shows, and then obviously wanted to keep something really special happening. And it was our ambition to take it into the city. But where was we going to go with that? We
hmm,
needed to have people to work with, to collaborate with, rather than it be a big risk again from our investors' point of view.
yeah,
And then lo and behold, I got approached by Patrick Donovan, who's the CEO and chairman of Tobacco Dock, who'd been following my LinkedIn journey.
yeah,
Jill, he said, "Would you come and have lunch with me?" He said, "I've been following your journey," and I think he may have I think he thought that I wasn't potentially going to be working on the Black Deer festivals as such anymore, and,
hmm,
and obviously was just sussing out what I was doing. But I was still very much Black Deer with the radio station and looking at new ideas. So I went to lunch with him, and he said that he wanted to put something of our genre into Tobacco Dock as a long term, an ongoing event.
yeah.
And so we ended up like we had lunch together and then we were hugging and I'm pushing him around because I'm very tactile. So when I'm getting excited with ideas, I'm suddenly like, the poor man, I don't think he knew what to do with me really, but
I love it.
he
That's how it should be.
no, no, but I was really properly
Yeah.
excited. I can't help it. I get really excited, and therefore then yeah.
Never
So
apologize for
anyway,
that. Never apologize for that.
so he went away, and I then got Chris. I introduced him to Chris, and we met all his management team.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. So we got a collaboration, a joint venture in Black Deer in the City at Tobacco Dock. Along with we're in discussions, Chris and I, with other city venues where we're hoping for 2026 that Black Deer in the City becomes a brand that we take to other cities in the UK.
It's so exciting. I mean, the growth potential as well for Black Deer in the City is huge. I mean, there's so many different locations. You know, you've got what should we call it, Leeds. You've got all like the where the Royal Armouries is. You know, there's just so many different places around like Media City and Manchester. You can almost follow the canals. There's
Yeah,
gonna be a
yeah,
canal tour.
yeah. Yeah, nice. I know, but we want to find proper homes for black deer that feel iconic and different. Like
Yeah,
we like no disrespect to an O2 because that obviously does phenomenally well. Um, but I want something that's a bit quirky.
yeah.
When I walked into Tobacco Dock, I'd been to Tobacco Dock before to an event there, and when I walked back in it, I just knew it was the home of black deer.
That's it.
Everything about it, it was already made me it already held me and made me really, really excited.
I think when it comes to like locations like that, whenever you walk into a place such as that, there's a feeling, there's a gut feeling that you get when you just walk in, you think, yeah, this is the place. This is where it needs to be. And I totally get that. That is just
And that's why Eridge was. Eridge is wild and beautiful, and I loved it. I loved it. It wasn't a stately home all manicured, and it was kind of like it just had everything that I wanted it to be. So, and
yeah.
Tobacco Dock is that city venue that I feel a very, a real strong draw to. So, yeah.
I mean, looking at the lineup as well, the main headliners that you've got coming over, there's just so many incredible talent there. There's got Mayor Lane on the Saturday and Johnny Morgan on the Sunday. I mean, again, two individual incredible artists. You know, you got the likes of Naomi Campbell, um, Bo Burnett, just so many great
And
people
they're all
coming.
great. They're all great, and we've obviously got Chuck Prophet, we've got Frazee Ford, American Aquarium. They're all the bigger ones, and there's an artist that I absolutely love is Toby Lee.
I was just going to say Toby Lee. I
I
mean,
mean,
his
Toby,
guitar playing.
Toby, Toby is like blows me away every time. But he's also lovely. I love him to bits. He's great. And Isabella Coulstock and he are together. Isabella's a really lovely artist that I saw in a pub when she was 14, and she came and played the first ever Black Deer. I love this beauty of the artists that are around Savannah Gardner. There are
Her
so many.
voice.
Savannah's just, got and she and these artists I've become really good friends with.
Yeah,
I really care about them. I've become part of their world as much as that, anyone else that I care. They
yeah,
know I care. And that's why if everything went tits up with Black Deer at any time in the future, I wouldn't walk away from this amazing community.
yeah,
Hannah White, Kieran, who've got the Sound Lounge, who've given so much of their. I mean, I could just mention everybody in the lineup of Black Deer in the City. I promise you, there's a connection. There's warmth. There's a feeling, and we're tying up with the Half Moon Putney now with Nina
yes,
at the Half Moon. So we've got this amazing excitement and buzz, and I've created a dance hall with lovely Lindsay Shaw, she's a historian, but also she's this amazing performer and artist, and she's going to be my queen of the dance hall. So for the first time, I've got a dance hall, and it's going to be like, yeah, loads of stuff happening all around, the Tobacco Dock, and we've got the Emporium where that's where the home is going to be for the Half Moon Putney stage, but it's also my clothing emporium. I
yeah.
want the best. clothing in this kind of genre that you can get. And it all becomes this buzzy area. We've got live fire with low and slow cooking. You know, Dr. Barbecue is really famous in the States. He was with us for 2 years. He's flying over. When he knew we was doing Black Deer in the City, he rang the boys, John and Ben, and just went, I'm over, I'm coming. So he's going to be heading up our whole live fire area. Super Jam, my kids that have fallen through the education system, who are now the Super Jam College for neurodiverse students, has been with me since day one.
Yeah.
We've always had a Super Jam stage at Black Deer, and that's no different at Tobacco Dock. We're going to do the songwriter circles with Super Jam students, bring in the artists. A lot of the artists are already ambassadors for Super Jam. So they will come and you get that intimacy in the Super Jam area. So yeah, I mean, literally, I could go on.
Oh no, you can keep going on. I mean, I'm listening to all these individual different things. I'm thinking, just wow. I mean, not only is there passion, there's love, there's community in everything that you've done so far and everything that you're going to do throughout the rest of Black Deer and Black Deer in the City. I mean, just
Oh, Haley's talking of stuff that really is important is Haley's is named after my brother, Chris Haley.
yeah.
So that's
Oh,
why it's called Haley's. And in Haley's bar, wherever we've had it, we have a lot of the grassroots artists playing, because he would have been one of those artists,
yeah,
had he lived. And there's this beautiful picture. It's an iconic picture of my brother with his friends. My brother's on guitar, one's on a harmonica, one's on another guitar, and others are singing of his mates. They were all his
yeah,
mates who used to gather around our house. And it's this beautiful black and white painting that's always hung in any space that we have Haley's. So over the years, Haley's has been under different canvases at Eridge,
yeah.
but it's always the
The
heart.
same.
Yeah. So Haley's is very special to me.
Oh, that is amazing. Oh, I'm so excited to be, down at Tobacco Docks, and I highly recommend anybody if you haven't got your ticket for the weekend. I mean, it's 2 days of incredible music, 25th, 26th of October. Just what are you waiting for? I mean, what are you waiting for? It's just going to be an exciting time. It's going to be an exciting festival. So many great artists, so much food. I think there's going to be a tattoo parlor as well
Oh
there.
yes,
I
Derek.
mean,
Yes,
come
tattoo.
on. I
Get your
mean,
Black Deer tattoo.
thing is though, it's been something that's been ticking over my mind for the past year or so now. Is I've got a couple tattoos already, and I'm thinking of getting another one. Now I was at Speedfest, another event that happens in Kent at Brands Hatch, and they had a tattoo parlor there. It's the first time I've seen a tattoo parlor sort of, an event that I've been
Yeah, yeah,
to,
yeah,
and I was like, that's actually really quirky. I really want a tattoo now. And since I
yeah.
saw it, it's just been ticking, ticking, ticking. And obviously, when I was looking through the things that's going to be happening at Black Deer in the City, and I saw that, I was like, is this a sign? Is this a sign for me to get my next tattoo?
There really is something for everybody, and that's how I
Yeah,
wanted it to be. You don't have to know those artists. A lot of people won't know who those artists are, really,
that's it.
and
But
they won't, and that's cool. They have to trust that we will only put on artists that are of quality. So
mhm,
every artist that's playing Black Deer has that quality. But there's so many other things that you can be doing. You don't, if music, standing there watching in the three stages that we've got, we've got, Desert Scene who are curating the Roadhouse, which is all about heavy music. It's a much heavier genre that we're bringing on board as a partner,
yeah,
who we've had over the years at Eridge. There's something for all musical tastes, but it really is you can come and just enjoy the atmosphere and
it's
the
brilliant.
clothing. And I'm doing what, let me just add this one thing.
Yeah,
I'm doing a catwalk, clothing catwalk. So we're going to pick people from the audience who come on our catwalk twice a day. We're going to do it. You're going to get amazing. We're going to be judged by artists and fashion design people who will be the professionals, and we want you to dress to impress. So prior to Black Deer even happening, we want to see what everyone's going to be wearing to Black Deer, but you will get picked out. We're going to pick out people during that weekend who will walk our catwalk and tell their story to our radio station and get interviewed and that. So there's loads of interactive stuff going on all the time.
That's amazing. You can don't worry about adding extra things. Keep going. Tell us all about what's going to happen because there is so honestly there is just so much. I'm genuinely so excited. In terms of like artists who do want to perform, say in the future, how do they go about coming to you, or do you like pick people out and say, would you like to do this? What's the
Well, I
whole
mean,
process?
to be fair, we've you know we're very lucky that people have wanted to play Black Deer. So it wasn't a difficult task to be able to get the amazing lineup that we've got.
Yeah,
But there's always opportunity. Next year is another year, but also other cities. If we go into other cities, there's much more opportunity for more artists. Because we'd be selective. If we've, one's played one, we would choose other artists to play the following year. So
yeah.
yeah, I mean, info at Black Deer, blackdeerfestival.com or Black Deer Live. But the information's all on the website. If you go on blackdeerfestival.com, you'll find all your information that you need there.
I mean, I just absolutely love it. I love the love for the grassroots side and the indie side that you have here. I mean, it's one of the reasons why I started my show. There was two reasons I started this show. Was number one was to help other artists get a bit of exposure because
Yeah,
when I first kind of like came into the scene, I was like, oh, there's a UK scene. So then it was like, oh, and I had to really dig. Whereas I wanted to create a central database where I speak to different artists. And the second reason was to force me to listen to new music,
yeah.
force me because you can get yourself into a bit of a rut and you can
Yeah, of
get
course you can. Yeah,
you
yeah.
can like stick to the same artist. And it was just like, no, I want to know what we have here. I want to know who we've got because these people deserve to be heard. And
100%. It's like they blow me away. Like, you pay a lot of money for a big headliner on your bigger stages, but the talent that's underneath that is better
yeah,
sometimes.
no, exactly. I mean, you know, in a world where everything is so pricey and the economy is really, really hard at the moment, and people are struggling to buy tickets, I highly recommend checking Black Deer out. It's just so exciting. And the fact not only that, it actually really helps because the main festival season is happening right now. We're in the middle of August. We've got like three or four different festivals that are happening all at the same
Yeah,
time. And
yeah.
you're in October.
Yes, well,
You're
that's part of the plan as well, to take it out of the condensed festival season,
yeah,
give you time to breathe. Then October, before Christmas hits, you've suddenly got this lovely fix of amazing music, and you're helping grassroots artists as well. And you're just going to have a bloody good time.
yeah, exactly. I mean, it's so well done. I mean, every little sort of different detail has been thought of so far. I can't wait to see how Black Deer in the City sort of unfolds. I'll be there doing some reels and trying to take footage throughout and obviously speaking with some artists. So if you're an artist that is performing at Black Deer, or even if you're not performing there and it's something you'd like to do, come find me and I'll have a chat with you all. But yes, Jill, thank you so much. I mean, the excitement that you show, the sheer passion and the sheer love for this scene is second to none. It is honestly, you're an incredible woman and incredible business person, and just thank you so much for what you do.
Oh, I'll be giving you a big hug when I come and see.
I hope so. Where can we find yourself? Where can we find Black Deer on socials and everywhere around?
Yeah, if look, you'll find us. Just search on Facebook, and you'll find Black Deer Festival is what you need to be looking for. Um, Even though it's not a festival as such, it's a big city event. It's still on, our website is still showing all what we've done before as well. So if anyone
Yeah,
is unsure what Black Deer is, that will show you the galleries from 2018 right the way through of what we've done with Black Deer. So
yeah.
bit of reassurance.
Amazing. Well, just to sort of like finish off and just to close it off. Now we've got two more questions. So for Black Deer Radio,
Yeah.
where can people listen to that? Where can people sort of get involved with that?
It's on all the usual channels. Apple, if you've got Alexa, ask Alexa to open Black Deer Radio, and then from then on, play Black Deer Radio. You can listen it, tune in. It's everywhere. Just search it, and you'll find it and download it as an app. And it's 24 hours. We've got, we're building the programming going on there. It's starting to kind of really become a go-to for a lot of people. I'm getting loads of people saying to me they love, you can have it on all day almost because it's so varied, the music that goes on in there.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've got, some really good things coming up for the future on that as well.
That
So,
is genuinely amazing. Now, finally, just to finish it off, if you was to look at your personality, if you was to sort of like assess who you are as a person, and then assign it a color, what color would that be?
oh my God. Right, okay, right. And you didn't prompt me this, so this has just come in my head, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but I've always loved green. I love
Oh,
green.
love green.
And also, like, it's just literally just clicked in, but green's for go,
Yeah, I like that.
like a traffic light. So,
Last the last artist
yeah,
I spoke to said like a blacky green, like a very dark foresty,
yeah,
kind of
no,
like
I love a bright green, like
vibrant
vibrant
and
green,
so
soft, vibrant. I like. I like
how
it. Yeah, there's a certain color of green that I absolutely love. So, yeah.
amazing. Well, thank you so much, Jill, for coming on. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Oh, it's been lovely chatting with you too. And
Thank
I,
you, everybody, for
well,
tuning in. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It has been an absolute honor, and I'll catch you all next time. Bye for now.